forget, if you attack our country, we go after you. We jail you. We throw away the key. You come after our capital?
I don't know. Joe Scarborough over on MSNBC talking about homicide again. It's a recurring theme with him. But after January 6th, he and everyone else in the media wanted the rest of us to know that those insurrectionists on January 6th had murdered 5 people.
President Trump is getting the wall, a wall, I should say, built at taxpayer expense, but this one is being built overnight around the U.S. Capitol to protect it from Trump supporters. The FBI director warning about an extensive amount of online chatter that calls for more violence. 5 people, of course, killed in the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, and it is becoming increasingly clear it could have even been worse.
He's still yet to properly talk about the 5 killed at the Capitol.
Well, America's not going to forget that 5 people were killed, including a Capitol police officer killed on the grounds that day. It simply happened.
We've seen 5 people killed at the Capitol. We must hold people accountable no matter what title they hold.
Yeah, the insurrectionists killed 5 people, except they didn't. That was a total lie. They knew it was a lie. There was never any evidence it was true, but everyone swallowed it. Today, Washington, D.C.'s chief medical examiner, Dr. Francisco Diaz, released the manner of death of the 5 people who were murdered at the Capitol on January 6th. Here's what he found. Only one person actually was a homicide victim. That was Ashley Babbitt. She was a protester. 2 other individuals, Kevin Greason and Benjamin Phillips, died of heart attacks. A 4th person, Roseanne Boylan, died of a drug overdose, amphetamines. No cause of death was provided for the death of Officer Brian Sicknick. Julie Kelly is a senior contributor to American Greatness, one of the people who's followed this the most closely, whose stories have been fact-based since the very beginning, in contrast to virtually everyone else, and she joins us tonight to assess what we just learned. Julie, thanks so much for coming on. What have we learned here?
Well, we have learned that yet another narrative related to January 6th has completely collapsed. The only person, as you say, who was killed that day was Ashley Babbitt. As we've seen time and time again, whether it's the idea of a deadly armed insurrection, whether it was sedition, all of these things that we were told early on, every single one of those storylines has fallen apart. But here's the question, Tucker. Who is going to start retracting all of it? I mean, we probably have hundreds of thousands of citations that 5 people were killed. It was in the House Democrats impeachment trial memo. Who's going to retract that? It's already ingrained. Tens of millions of Americans already believe this. It doesn't matter. The facts don't matter. But we're trying our best to tell people exactly what the truth is.
But they lied about every one of these, or recklessly speculated without knowledge, which is, you're not supposed to do that in journalism. The poor woman who died of a drug OD, I don't know the details of that. The medical examiner said it was amphetamines. Weren't we told she was trampled to death by insurrectionists?
We were told that she suffocated because of this mob. We were told, as you know, that Brian Sicknick was murdered with a fire extinguisher. Finally, the New York Times had to retract that story, but I had a piece over this past weekend, when they were talking about the killing of Officer Evans, who was run over, as you know, last Friday. They regurgitated the story about Officer Sicknick again, and we're talking about top news organizations who are still citing the fact that Officer Sicknick was killed, and still by a fire extinguisher. None of that's been retracted.
Liars. Thank you for your honest and fact-based coverage of this. It's really needed. I wish you worked at the New York Times. Julie Kelly, great to see you. We'll be back tomorrow and every night at 8 p.m. The show that's the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink, Sean Hannity.